I wanted to illustrate a quick guide to get all 13 dragon riding glyphs, or talent points, within the Waking Shore area of the Dragon Isles. You can collect all of these the moment that you unlock dragon riding while leveling, and there's two main ways to collect them. You can fly to each location, taking it at your own pace and letting your vigor, or your dragon riding ability power, recharge between stops or when climbing tall mountains. You can also leverage a technique that I've covered in a different video, which you can see annotated appearing now on the screen if you want to learn more, that allows you to chain your vigor in a way where you never have to actually touch the ground. Both are perfectly valid options, but in this video I will be illustrating it using the vigor chaining method for complete transparency. Hello everyone, welcome in. My name is Rothmar. My goal is to make World of Warcraft more approachable to everyone. I've put a lot of time into learning this game and I want others to enjoy it as well. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. To begin, the first two dragon riding glyphs or talent points are located here at the Skytop Observatory where you first unlock dragon riding. The first one is part of a quest, so you might actually already have this one done. It's located just floating here on the top of this little island. You press 2 and it will skyward ascent your way up into it. Now the second dragon riding glyph over here is located at the top of the tower here. You can't actually see it, but I promise it's up there. And the way that we're going to reach this is by using that vigor chaining method to swiftly climb into the air to reach it. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and run to some sort of cliff or some sort of area where we can point ourselves downwards and get a little bit of downward speed so that we can get a buff called Thrill of the Skies, which makes our character turn blue. As soon as we get this, we'll go ahead and point our camera upwards and begin chaining skyward ascents to get a lot of vertical momentum flying through that second dragon riding glyph. This is all the ones that are in this area immediately, and we'll go ahead and head over towards the third one. Luckily, the third dragon glyph is not far off. I'm going to head over here towards where the flight path is for the Skytop Observatory. I'm on an alt, so I don't have this flight path yet. I'll go ahead and grab it here in the video. You obviously don't have to do that. But we're aiming for this tower that you see right in front of us here on the back side of this flight path. This one right here. So we're going to go ahead and jump off, get a little bit of speed, point our camera upwards, and skyward ascent to get our height. And the third dragon riding glyph is located inside of this tower. It's kind of hollowed out. And we'll point our way downwards and tag it here. If you missed it, that's totally okay. You can wrap back around. You should have more than enough momentum to swing through it a second time, and we'll go ahead and land. The fourth point is also nearby. It's going to be just to the southwest of the Ringrest Embassy. And the way that we're going to head there is by just going directly northeast. You see this tall tower that's sort of in front of us again. It'll be on the back side of it. So even if you don't know specifically where it is, that's perfectly fine. Just head towards this tall tower that's in front of you and go ahead and aim your camera a little bit down, and it'll immediately show up as this shiny coin on the back side of it below to the right. We'll go ahead and grab this fourth vigor point here. Perfect. And we'll land. Now that we do have 4 total glyphs or talent points, we'll go ahead and jump into our dragon riding talent. So we're going to take these 2 abilities that you see here. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here, but basically what this does is it'll allow us to get a 4th overall vigor point, which means that we're going to get more skyward ascents to chain into, more height. And then the second ability that we're going to take means that our Thrill of the Skies, the thing that turns us blue, is going to give us faster vigor recharge while we are in that blue high speed state. This will make the next point easier because the 5th dragon riding glyph that we're going to be going for is on top of this super duper tall magma mountain directly west of us. And we will need that 4th point to kind of reach that easily. So we'll go ahead and jump off here. And we'll get some speed, and we're going to begin chaining that vigor with the skyward ascent and the blue ability. Every about 2 flaps, 1 flap, 2 flap, hit the skyward ascent. We'll do that 4 times to get some nice height here. And then we'll go ahead and flatten out. We'll point our camera lightly downwards, so we keep our downwards momentum to keep that blue speed going. And whenever we get a vigor point back, we'll spend it on another skyward ascent to give us that height. And this is where that next dragon riding glyph point is. The 6th point is going to be located at the top of the tower just to the direct west of us here. This one is luckily pretty straightforward, so we'll go ahead and just speed the video up through this part, but just head towards this tall tower that you see directly to the west. Perfect. From this location, we'll head mostly south and just a little bit west towards a plateau at the end of this little peninsula that you see on the south end of it. It'll be on top of a plateau, so we'll go ahead and jump off. We'll get some speed going. If at any given point you're not quite sure where a dragon riding point might be, I do have these sort of marked where the points are. I'll get a list of waypoints in the comments for you. Just know that whenever you get close, it will appear as a bright, shining coin if you don't already have it collected. If you do have it collected, whether that's on this character or another, these are shared across all of your characters, it will show as a gray coin. So it won't have that really shiny initial showing for you, but as you can see here, the shiny coin appears, and we'll just head right towards that and grab our next point. The 8th dragon riding glyph is going to be located directly west inside of the Obsidian Throne, or the Obsidian Citadel, on top of a large lava pit. Now this one is quite vertically high up, and so we're going to use our vigor chaining technique to get a lot of height right out of the gate. So I'm going to use all 4 of our dragon riding points to just go ahead and get quite high up in the air. We're waiting for 1 flap, 2 flap, skyward ascent. And we're looking for here is that very large, heavily bubbling lake of lava up at the top of this mountain. If we get enough height, we don't really have to wait for vigor to recharge or anything like that as we get over here. Instead, we can just glide directly into the point, making it really easy to get. I highly recommend learning this sort of vigor chaining technique. I guarantee it'll make the rest of Dragonflight much easier for you as far as traversing the map, let alone getting these points to begin with. So we'll go ahead and fly through this, and we'll land on the large platform just south of us here at the Obsidian Citadel. The 9th point is actually relatively nearby to the east. What we're going to do is we're going to look for our map here, and we'll look for this small island that has this fort icon on it, and these lava flow looking thumbnails to the right. It'll be just east of there. In the video here, I've gained a tremendous amount of height. I promise you don't need as much height as I'm gaining here. It's just sort of habit at this point. You can glide there entirely. You do not need to vigor chain from that tower all the way down to this 9th point. I have way too much height here. So we're just going to be heading directly east and a little south. Again, once you get close to this ability, it should show up as a giant shining coin on your map. So if you're not sure exactly where it is, it becomes pretty apparent, as you can see right here. It just sort of pops out of that gray fog pretty quickly. We'll go ahead and grab this and land again. The 10th point is located very far south. Basically look for this Nile-like river. Look for this little island here, especially the one that has the tiny little nub here, and it'll be in the river just south of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to aim for that waterfall area that you see on the map in front of us. So we'll get our speed here. This will technically take you out of the Waking Shores, though this is counted as a Waking Shores dragon riding glyph. So if you open up your map and it seems like you've maybe gone too far, I promise you haven't. It's just right in front of this waterfall above the bridge here. Point number 11 is just northeast of our current location atop another flat area. Look for this peninsula in the river that forms this tiny little polyp, and it'll be just east of the bottom part of the inlet river. So basically point your camera towards that sort of tower that you see here. Go ahead and jump off, and then point your camera to the northeast once you get your speed, and you'll be there before you know it. I did have this fun thing in this when I was grabbing it. There is a NPC up here mining, which I thought was kind of cute. So we'll go ahead and grab this point here, and we'll land next to the mining NPC. Point number 12 is actually even closer. It'll be just behind this tower to the east of us. It'll be in this little frost area. As you can see, it's between the mouth here. It'll be on top of a bridge. So we're just going to jump off, and we're going to go behind the tall tower that's right in front of us. And it should show up really swiftly here. It'll just be this floating coin. Again, I've already picked this up on another toon, so it's not shining for me, but for you it should really pop out. For the 13th and final point, it is located more towards the center. We're going to look for the widest part of the river right here, and it'll be just east where there's this sort of overland bridge with 2 dragons on either side of it. So from our location, we're going to go ahead and jump off and get some speed. We'll vigor chain our height up real swift. We don't need to hit blue here. As far as Thrill of the Skies buff goes, just go ahead and get a little bit of speed. We'll get some nice height. You can see that widest part of the river below us and to the left here. And we're going to look for this bridge with the 2 dragon wings, the big tips pointing up. And on the left side of it, there'll be an archway. The point's going to be located in the bottom part of that archway, so we fly right through here. And congratulations, you've gotten all 13 of the Waking Shores Dragon Riding talent points. If this guide has helped you, please be sure to leave a like on the video so the algorithm will give it to others so they can find it as well. If you've enjoyed this guide and want to see more, please be sure to leave a comment below on what you'd like me to cover. And as always, if you'd like to see more guides from me, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any future new videos. Thank you for watching, and until next time, please remember to be safe and be nice to the fellow players out there.